I've always felt like it's important to give what you have. So whether that's expertise, time, money, connections, I think everyone has an opportunity to give back to the community because in essence, creating community is all about what we all chip in and put in together.
Welcome to Powerhouse with Joyce. We have our International Women's Day series 2026 with the theme Give to Gain. Joining us today is Daniella Lopez. She's a TEDx organizer and a marketing communications specialist and consultant. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. This episode is in collaboration with S9 by Susanna Su, a Hong Kong-based contemporary women's wear that blends romantic femininity with functional modern design. Maybe we could start off with a quick introduction of your role and your journey till today.
Yeah, so my name is Daniella, and as you said, I'm a TEDx organizer. I also primarily work in marketing, but I work with companies that are do good. So social enterprises, nonprofits, charities, and impact investors that are trying to change the world. And that's the message that I want to help spread. And
you've done quite a lot of projects along the way. And as you mentioned, you have amazing experience with do good and nonprofits and spreading the word for female empowerment as well, which is primarily the theme today. Mm-hmm. Can you talk a little bit about the motivation and inspiration for this journey?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I grew up in a family of all girls, my sisters. And a single mother. So I think that that's been part of the journey is how can we support and lift each other up? And I helped start TEDxTin Hau Women here in 2017. But I've been working in TEDx events as a volunteer since I lived in Shanghai back in 2011, 2012. So my TEDx journey has been quite a long one. It's primarily been about lifting up women's voices, creating a platform for them to share their ideas.
How did you start out the journey in Shanghai?
Oh, Shanghai, that was the pivotal moment. That was moving from the US to Asia, actually. So that was about 15 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I've spent my entire pretty much adult life in Asia. So when I first joined, I was looking for a community and I found the TEDxTin Hau Women community. Mm.
Wow, amazing. And you started volunteering first, as you mentioned, and then getting more involved in becoming the co-organizer or organizer for TEDxTin Hau.
That's right. So we're all volunteers. Everyone that's on the volunteer and myself. And we put a lot of time and effort into promoting this event. And it's one of the, I think, highlights on the calendar for women's events.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yes. But I've also been involved with other organizations that I think are just as worthy and powerful in Hong Kong. We're lucky to have so many of them. The Women's Foundation, Help for Children. It's been a great journey seeing like what we're able to accomplish here in Hong Kong.
Right. And when you moved to Asia, were you in marketing, and what was it like a career adjustment, a company that brought you out? What was the initial step?
So actually, I moved to Shanghai without a job. I went on a tourist visa. Ooh. And I fell in love with the city. I fell in love with this part of the world.
That's amazing.
Actually, my background was in political science, legal studies. Mm-hmm. Of course, I think you're probably not moving out to Asia for that type of role. So I ended up getting picked up by a public relations firm. Mm-hmm. And I worked with them for a few years and ended up moving to Hong Kong after 5 years in Shanghai. Mm-hmm. So as much as I loved Shanghai and I didn't want to leave, my Mandarin was not getting any better. So
that's okay. Well, Hong Kong's a good place.
But when I came to Hong Kong, then there were a few of us that had been organizing these TEDx events in Shanghai. So we started Tin Hau Women off the back of that experience.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. And as you started doing more of the events with TEDxTin Hau and other organizations you mentioned, how do you see the landscape change, let's say, or the awareness change to be more female aware and female empowerment aware?
I think Hong Kong has done a really great job of supporting women in the workplace because primarily the organizations I've been involved with have been professional organizations. Mm-hmm. But also, I mean, just with what's been happening with board requirements of having women on boards and women that have been reaching out to volunteer. So since last year was my last year with TEDxTin Hau Women, I'm now launching TEDx Hong Kong, So the first event will be in June.
Oh, amazing.
And on the back of that, we've had a lot of women that know the reputation of Teen Hau, which will continue, reach out to volunteer for TEDx Hong Kong. And it's been amazing. People from all parts of the city have reached out to volunteer and support. And I'm very fortunate that, you know, the reputation we built with TEDxTin Hau Women is so strong that there's been a big desire from people to join TEDx Hong Kong. So it's great to see that there's space for more and more community events. And I think we see that in Hong Kong. There are a lot of different platforms for people to get involved in and find ways to give back.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you mentioned, you've definitely built a very good reputation with TEDxTin Hau, and
not just me,
and the whole team. But I was going to ask, how do you? Because it is a lot of, it's a whole team of volunteers in different disciplines, different industry. What's your secret to success in terms of really bringing everyone together, motivating them? And I see that you've done a really good job in terms of a lot of mini events as well to motivate within the team. So maybe you can talk a bit more how you built that.
Sure, yeah. I never really saw myself as an organizer in terms of the sense of bringing all these people together, but slowly I've started to, I guess, give myself more credit for that. What's been really beautiful and what I've seen is it's such a positive environment, what we've created, and being able to lift each other up and create a different type of working system. So the way that we'll operate for TEDx Hong Kong as well, for example, is kind of more of a matriarchal style, a bit more collaborative, a bit less flat hierarchical. And I think creating that environment where people can see the passion, but on top of that, take ownership and feel empowered really makes people feel like there's an opportunity to step up. So I think that's been the key to success because, as I said, we're all volunteers and we're putting together a really, you know, gold star level event. And I do think that it's the passion and the drive to contribute to something bigger than all of us.
That's great. That's amazing. So with the theme, give to gain, maybe you can explain a bit more what that means to you and in terms of your work as well.
Yeah, you know, I was thinking about it this morning. And I've always felt like it's important to give what you have. So whether that's expertise, time, money, connections, I think everyone has an opportunity to give back to the community because in essence, creating community is all about what we all chip in and put in together. So giving to gain just makes sense for me. I feel like life is more powerful when we share with each other, and that only happens by giving. Right,
absolutely. And you mentioned there's a lot of volunteers that's required to run an event and more needed. How do you further motivate, and what are the ways to reach out to a diverse team of volunteers?
Absolutely. I think the biggest misconception with volunteering and giving back and giving your time is that it's going to take a lot of it. But if you find with so many different organizations doing a lot of amazing work across Hong Kong in every different sector, if you find something that sparks that joy or that passion, I think there's an opportunity to find your place within that community. So even with the literary festival that's coming up, we work with so many volunteers who are passionate because they're writers, they're students who are interested in writing, they're translators, and they reach out to us, and there's an opportunity to bring them on to help, to see what we do behind the scenes. And I think that those opportunities exist out there. It's probably just biting the bullet and not worrying about what your professional expertise is, because you can learn on the ground a lot of times with these organizations.
Right. That's true. I mean, it's easy to kind of overthink things. With anything, right? But with volunteering, as you said, like maybe most people will feel like, may not have enough time, or might not have that skill. What do I do? And so maybe it's just kind of get started and see what happens. And
it doesn't have to be a big time commitment. So what I tell the teams that I work with for various things is it's all about communication. So if something happens, promotion at work, life changes, you've committed to something that no longer is doable for you, that's totally okay. That's absolutely okay. The biggest thing is just communicating with the team and saying, look, I need some help. I thought I would be able to do this, but circumstances have changed, and we never punish or kick someone out of a team for that. So we always say, thank you so much for giving what you can give, and come back when you have time again.
Yeah, and that's amazing. Actually, what you mentioned is just kind of as long as they communicate, right? Because sometimes if you don't have time, people just don't show. And
yes,
that's
it's the no-shows that are the most difficult too. The no contacts, no shows that are the most difficult when you're trying to run something. So I just impress on everyone that works with us on the various projects that it's all about, just doing what you can, giving what you can, and at some point just communicating where you are.
Right. Right. That's important. Yeah. So don't leave people hanging. Right?
Yes. Don't leave people hanging. No ghosting.
It's like, we know you're volunteering, but still,
yes.
just let people know.
Because in reality, I think what's great about and unique about Hong Kong is we're kind of a village within a big city. Yeah. So there's a lot of opportunities to connect and network. And I think that's a huge part of how all of us live our lives every day. So when you think about volunteering, a lot of times as well as you're networking just by being involved in something, you're networking. People kind of see what you're doing and that you're doing it on a volunteer passionate basis. And that already makes you more interesting than the people that are not doing that.
Right. That is so true. Yeah. Just being able to be part of a community or different communities and building relationship that way.
Yeah. So you get a lot more than you give in the end. At least that's how I feel.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. The amazing platform we created with TEDxTin Hau Women, and it will continue. There weren't many men in that conversation. There weren't many men in there. And it's not like we were talking about periods and, breast cancer and all of these things, although those should be relevant to men. Yeah. We were really highlighting experts, and we were talking, about some women's issues, but every man has a mother, has a girlfriend or a wife or a daughter or a sister. So what I want to do with Hong Kong, because I'm going to take that gender lens that I have through organizing over the last 14 years and partner with Sonia Wong, who's a local here in Hong Kong. And together, her and I, because she's also organized women's events in the past, plan to kind of operate TEDx Hong Kong as a space for both men and women to come together. But the most important thing is that we look at everything with a gender lens because you need to. As much opportunity that's been created and as much success that we've had over the last few years, although minus a DEI callback globally, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done, I think, to connect. It almost feels like we've gone full circle where men are creating their own side groups and you're seeing this, male toxicity sort of appearing on the internet and women being objectified again. So it almost feels like we've gone full circle where some of the good work that we did has disappeared a bit. And I think part of that might be because the conversation's been segregated. Right. So with Hong Kong, although it's not a female or women specific platform, the idea is that we will look at things and see, is the best person to speak on this a woman? Should there be a different consideration in this talk? Right. I know part of the conversation lately has been around women's health and how do we push women's health forward when it's lacking funding, when things like Femtech, a great organization in Hong Kong, is trying to promote women's health through technology and has been promoting some really fantastic things, but we know that investments aren't going towards women's health. We know that there's still a lack of support for women's issues and research on women's health. So things like that are how we'll consider TEDx Hong Kong as a sister complement to the other TEDx's in the city, but also kind of hopefully grow that audience a bit more and put things in front of the community that need to be talked about. Right. So that's the ambition for it.
Yeah, amazing. Absolutely. And absolutely true in terms of what you mentioned. It's sometimes you see things kind of going backwards a little bit, back 2 steps, you need to go forward 1 step. And it's still amazing to see so many roadblocks, right? And this day and age with so much talk about female different problems and things and empowerment, but still having so many people against it.
Yes. One of the things I love about the platform, because of course it is the majority of where I spend my time is through TEDx organizing as a volunteer, is it's such an opportunity to create dialogue. It's where we can ask questions about things that don't feel like they work in society, for everything from, the way that we take public transportation or the way that we recycle or the way that we're designing or the way that we're investing in research. All of that is open game for the stage. So, and I really hope that people see it as something for everyone, but specifically an audience that's curious.
Right. Yeah, that's always the good way to start, right? Being curious about something.
Yes, exactly. I think it's that curiosity that it gets people to support community and build community, because it's having a curious mind to how things work and how you can support is really where you see growth, I think.
Right. So in addition to that, what do you hope for in the coming year and years for as a message to people in this space?
I'd like to see more men volunteer.
Yep.
I think that we've got a lot of women volunteering, and I volunteer with a few different organizations, including Help for Children, and we've got a pretty robust team for that. But I tend to feel like I see more women. And in addition, I think it would be great to get more young people volunteering. So that's a mission of mine for TEDx Hong Kong as well, is to get the youngers, because they'll be the next league of organizers, the next league of volunteers. So I think it's creating a space for them, but also recognizing that every generation has its own ideas and its own, mindset and ways of looking at things that create, all together, we create something much more powerful than if it were just one type of person or one age of person. So
definitely
continued diversity, I guess.
Yep. And that's a way to get to every different group, right?
Exactly.
Well, I'm curious, how did you start your company?
Yes. So TEDxTin Hau was started because I really wanted to spend all of my time volunteering. And when I recognized or realized that unfortunately wouldn't pay rent, I tried to find a middle ground. And I think that's super important because there is an opportunity in Hong Kong especially to look at how we finance things, to look at how we decide what is valuable. And for me, it was recognizing that I could set up my company with a nonprofit rate and with a corporate rate. So although primarily I'm looking at working with clients that are doing good and in the social enterprise space, I do also work with small companies or female-owned companies, as long as I believe in the mission. And I think, there's opportunities where it's about how do we feel good with what we're doing? How do we feel good about the work that we're doing, especially in a marketing or public relations role where it's all about publicizing, whether that's to help sell services or sell products. You have an impact because you're creating space and noise for something. So for me, it was about making sure that it's things that I believe in. Right. And a lot of times, like with the Literary Festival, that is a charity. Their mission is to get kids and people reading. And so as a consultant with them, that's a role that I love because we're trying to do something that's very meaningful. Storytelling and getting lost in a story makes you empathetic. It makes you see things differently, see the way that different cultures operate or different people think different than you. And I've tried to bring that into TEDx Hong Kong as well. So I know that a lot of services we can get for free, such as hair and makeup, photography, these types of things. But I've decided, and I've talked to the team about this, that we're going to pay everyone that comes on to provide a service because we have an opportunity as a community platform to create a new system. We can set the stage and show people how we want things to operate. And through that, we tend to rely on the people that are freelancers or marketers or have a skill that they come in and help with something like graphic design but we're not valuing that. I mean, the logo is great. Some exposure is great, but I just feel we're a very privileged city. So there's an opportunity for us to recognize and reevaluate how we financially consider things important.
Absolutely.
So it's an important part for me to make these subtle changes in the way that I'm volunteering and the people that I'm working with to recognize work and time more.
That's great to hear, especially as a photographer and our company does content. And yes,
it's
absolutely.
It's a lot of work. You're lugging around equipment, but it's also specialized equipment. I mean, if you gave me the camera, I wouldn't know what to do. And I think we're undervaluing that too much. We're relying too much on the people that are actually making things run.
Right.
So
absolutely. I love to hear. Yeah. Love hearing it. And I agree. I was thinking about that before. It's so hard because then you want obviously great work to advertise, to be able to put the PR, the marketing material. But I think a lot of organizations take it for granted. And
Absolutely.
They'll be like, we don't want to pay for it.
Which is outrageous. It's time.
It's
time, it's expertise, it's specialized knowledge.
Right.
And I don't know, I just feel like there's an opportunity to lead by example here.
Yeah.
So
and that's amazing.
Yeah.
And I mean, most companies anyways, even big or small solopreneurs, you do have a different rate, right? Of course, there's always, you can have nonprofit rate and everybody does that, knowing that it's for good, but it is hard to do zero, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
How many can you do, right?
Exactly.
So,
and that was why I started my company and created it in the way that I did, because I still volunteer and do things for free, but there's absolutely an opportunity to start lifting everybody up.
yeah.
And that's my hope with leading by example, starting a company that I believe in, the way it operates, the way that we treat our volunteers for the different organizations I work with.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me. Happy International Women's Day.
Yes, happy International Women's Day.